Hi, my name is Yasmin Griffin. I live currently in Brevard County, Florida, Central Florida, beautiful place. I moved here about, say, 2004, December 2004. I came here from Northern Virginia, Arlington. Originally from Bangladesh. I was married to an American who was with the government for about 20 years or so. Then Dan retired, and we had a divorce, which was very unfortunate, but you know, things happen. Anyways, we both went our own ways. I moved to Florida. When I came here, I bought 4 houses, paid off pretty good. I was well situated when I came in, I thought so. I had 4 houses, all of them paid up to, say, between 25 to 30% down payment. Came here, I thought I can rent my houses and probably do a part-time job, and I was set for life. But ever since I came here, life started going only downwards, from bad to worse. What really happened last 4 years really tops everything else. There's a guy, his name is Kurt Lighting. He's a German-American. He told me he was from New Jersey, but I met him in Arlington, Virginia. I had no clue what happened. I came and I found myself under surveillance. Somebody had apparently reported me as a terrorist suspect. My family is the most peace-loving family you can ever find. And I was overwhelmed, not knowing what to do. Then I started writing to the government. I wrote to President Bush, former President Bush, Condoleezza Rice, former Secretary of State, many senators, and many State Department officials. And I kept walking back into the memory lane to find out what happened. So finally everything zeroed into this guy named Kurt Lighting. He walked into my booth in 1997. I was doing a booth I had a booth at Arlington Fair. At the time I was working with Primerica Financial Services, so I just had a booth to promote my business. So this guy walks in, and he did not leave for about 30-40 minutes. He left. He was really irritating everybody, so he was talking to my sister who was at the booth helping me, and also one of the co-workers. So I stepped in to get rid of the guy. So anyways, I started talking to him, and then found out that he's from the State Department, federal agency. My ex-husband Dan he was an engineer with the USAID, which was a sister agency for the State Department. So the fact that he was from the State Department, that kind of attracted me toward him. I talked to him. He was with a woman. We talked, and then I followed up because he had to fill out some forms to win draw. We had several draws at the booth. So he did, and at the time I was one of the top recruiters for Primerica Financial Services. I was I had nationally gained recognition. I was the #1 recruiter and also sales manager, regional manager. And everybody knew that I'm very good at talking to everyone who comes across me. So I took this guy the same way. He was just a recruit, a sales lead for mortgage. I noticed that he owned a house, so I thought maybe I can follow up. So anyways, I followed up, and somehow the business aspect didn't develop. Instead, I became involved with him for a brief time. I knew this guy for probably less than 60 total hours, 60 to 70 hours of total time I spent with him. That was way back in 1997. So I come here in 2004, and I find myself being under the surveillance, and I kept wondering what have I done wrong. So I called my lawyer, and I had him write to all the possible agencies who could have anything on me. That started with Army, Navy, Air Force, FBI, everybody. State Department was the last on the list. I worked for them overseas 1 year. Job that did not require any security clearance. They were low-level security clearance, say. And I knew that something is wrong because there's no way I would be on this list. So I had my lawyer write down, he wrote to at least 17 different agencies. And it never occurred to me to write to the State Department, but reluctantly I wrote to them. I had my lawyer write to them also. So all the agency wrote my lawyer back and told them that I was not on their suspect list. But State Department wrote me, the last person I had on the list, they wrote me back through my lawyer saying that they could not give I am on their list, but it's something involved with other people, and they cannot reveal their names for their privacy's sake. So anyways, so that was kind of weird, and I kept going back to memory lane. I said, what have I done that State Department would have something on me? I worked for them at this U.S. Embassy in Sri Lanka, Colombo, during 1991. So I kept rewinding my memory tapes to see what happened, what could have happened. Could this guy, Kurt Lighting, have something to do with it? My involvement with him, could that have jeopardized anything on him? So he reported me. So I walked back to the memory lane, and only thing I could say that I met him because Dad and I were already divorced several years. And I hadn't had any contact with any government people. He was the only person, and a couple of his co-workers, they also came and worked with the Primerica Financial Services. So somehow everything, when it dotted all the lines, he keeps coming back to the picture. So after I wrote, say, for 4 or 5 years, finally I realized that was probably, they realized that I was not the right, somebody mistakenly put my name. So that was off the focus. While it was getting off the focus, something else was surfacing. Suddenly I found out that this guy, Kurt Lighting, was moving. He had to move in. He moved from Virginia to here, to Brevard County. And with that this guy started bombarding me with all sorts of defamatory messages, threatening messages, and everything. Then I was totally overwhelmed, not knowing what I had done wrong with him. Then I said, did I mislead this guy somehow? Have I, kind of let him the impression that I wanted to be with him? But then I looked back and I said, there was nothing that I have misled. I did not mislead this guy. He instead had my file from the State Department. Apparently he took advantage of my personal records and used and abused those. And his obsession, he became very obsessive. His obsession did not develop from his and my interaction that we had less than 60-70 hours of total time. What I figured out, he was using my file to get a lot of information on me. Plus, when I met him, he already had plenty of information. He knew all about my life, my personal life, business life, social life. He had a couple of people who was also giving information about the business. A lot of it. He had plenty of information on me before he walked into the booth at the county. He pretended that it was the first time ever he saw me, met me. Maybe he met me for the first time, but that was not the first accidental. It was not so accidental as he made out. So anyways, this guy